Cybersecurity? Easy. Before getting into cybersecurity, you need to understand what it actually is, why it exists, and why specifically you would be valuable in it. It all starts with your mindset. Cybersecurity is not a narrow discipline, it's a broad, multi-domain field. Your mindset will determine which role fits you best. You can start pretty much anywhere, but how quickly you hit the limits of your understandings is just a matter of time. Before even starting, you need to develop the habit of asking questions, become comfortable with discomfort, and be ready for a disrupted sleep schedule. Regardless of your current understanding, you already know that everything operates through roles. This applies not only to cybersecurity, but to any kind of system. Within a family, you are a son, daughter, father, mother, or even a dog. It doesn't really matter. What actually matters is that you occupy a role, whether you realize it or not. Each role comes with expectations, how you behave, what you do, or how you operate. The same principle applies in cybersecurity. You need to define your role, and you can shift, evolve, or combine roles over time. At a high level, there are two primary domains, blue team and red team. Blue team is responsible for defense, protecting systems, infrastructure, and data. Red team simulates adversaries, actively attempting to compromise those systems. In reality, neither side is focused on you personally unless there is value. Money, data, access, something worth targeting. What blue team actually does depends on the operational level. Endpoints, network, application, organization, industry, or national level. The larger the scope, the more resources and coordination are required. Security is continuous. There is no pause, no downtime. If you stop, you lose. This is why you need to be comfortable with pressure and constant engagement. You are expected to think, adapt, and outsmart the adversary. It is not possible to build a system that is completely unbreakable. Because of that, the goal is not elimination of threats, but effective management of them. This is where approaches like intelligence-driven defense comes in, using threat intelligence to anticipate and mitigate attacks before they fully materialize. So, what are the threats? This is where the adversary side comes in. Attackers attempt to gain access, extract value, or disrupt operations. These activities can be authorized or unauthorized, and they can last minutes, months, or even years. First, authorized attacks. This is structured security testing. Blue team builds defensive controls around assets that have value. Red team or ethical testers attempt to bypass those controls using tools, techniques, and reasoning, ideally without detection. This is done to evaluate the effectiveness of the defense. Now, unauthorized actors. We start with someone entering the field calling themselves a hacker. In reality, they're what's known as a script kiddie. Low skill, tool dependent, experimental without deep understanding, and trying to build a small raft and go against cruise liner in the ocean, basically. Limited knowledge, don't know what homomorphic encryption or advanced cryptographic models. Motivation is usually curiosity, ego, or the need to prove something to somebody. Then we have nation-state actors. Espionage? Yes. Intellectual property theft? Yes. Critical infrastructure disruption? Absolutely. These are highly organized groups operating with national-level resources. Their objectives are tied to politics, influence, and conflict. They have skilled operators capable of executing long-term stealthy operations, including targeting industrial systems and critical infrastructure. So while a low-level actor might deploy a simple background process that gets flagged quickly by a Tier 1 SOC analyst reviewing alerts, an advanced persistent threat group can combine social engineering, physical access, and long-term persistence. They can gain legitimate access, implant a backdoor, and leave it dormant for years, undetected. And then years later, operators thousands of kilometers away can activate that access and control the system remotely. That doesn't just give access to one asset, it opens pathways to everything connected to it. Think about that, or research it. At this point, you should already be deciding whether this field actually interests you. Start building the habit: question, search, analyze, and solve. There are many other threat actors like cybercriminals, financially motivated, hacktivists, ideology-driven, and insider threats, legitimate access used maliciously, and many more. Now let's consolidate. In cybersecurity, you operate within a defined role. That role includes a set of skills, knowledge, tools, resources, and the most important, motivation. Motivation defines your direction, everything else defines your capability. At the highest level, red team attacks, blue team defends. Within each, there are specialized roles. The objective is simple, either protect or compromise. Without attackers, defenders wouldn't exist. Without both, cybersecurity as a field probably wouldn't exist. But because of human nature, there are always people with bad intents. They are of course bad, but because of them, defense exists. Now, your homework. First, research the history of cybersecurity, then identify key figures and contributors. Third, study major real-world attacks and defensive responses. And last, map out roles within red and blue teams. And at this stage, you need to decide whether you like or love cybersecurity. In the next videos, we'll go deeper into specific roles within both teams. That's where you will start defining your path. Be safe, ask questions, and I see you soon.